So, who was ready for the nuke that came from the Panini, not the Reese's Senior Bowl, not anymore. I'm going to miss the Reese's Senior Bowl, but now the Panini Senior Bowl, Panini as in the trading card company. Oh, I'm gonna miss those peanut butter cups in the press box, but what can you do? By the way, this is Berman's Big Board. My name is Zach Berman, and we're talking all things NFL draft. And guess what today is? We're talking edge rushers that are going to the Senior Bowl this year. And I know that this is a little bit out of order compared to maybe some of the other positions that we might have wanted to touch on first. But why are we starting at edge? I feel like I'm asking the Passover questions. Why is this night different from all other nights? Well, I'm glad that you asked. And my answer to that is guess who declared for the Senior Bowl in the year of our Lord, 2026, first year after Jim Nagy is no longer part of this thing, which, I mean, this is a stunning development. Maybe the best player to ever come out of the Senior Bowl in my memory. Like, oh my God. I'll just rip it off, right? Rip the Band-Aid off right now. Ruben Bain is going to the Senior Bowl. Ruben fucking Bain out of the University of Miami, someone who is probably going to be a top 5 pick in this draft class, is going to the Reese's Senior Bowl. Panini Senior Bowl. Motherfucker. Words cannot describe how big a deal this is. If you don't know, I touched on him yesterday. Ruben Bain is a top 3 player in this draft class, in my opinion. Like, this is a guy that could be one of the best edge rushers to come out of the draft in recent memory. And all of a sudden, coming off of, oh yeah, he played the national championship. What? 2 days ago? 2 days ago, he played in the national championship. This is unprecedented. I mean, the Senior Bowl has gotten these big name dudes before. It's not often. It's happened. But to get Ruben Bain right after he played in the Natty, that is not a normal get for the Senior Bowl. Like, this is a much, much bigger deal than I think people are realizing. What more does he have to prove? I know that there are some critiques and complaints that, oh, his arm length is not enough, and who cares? Do we really need to have that discussion? Did you watch him play this season? If you watched Ruben Bain play this season, you know that arm length does not mean a fucking thing when you're producing like he has. Like, what more is there to watch? He's a dog, like a straight up dog. Now, my one thing with him is I see a lot of Kayvon Thibodeau in him, and I'm not sure if that's necessarily a good thing. I think he relies a little bit too much on his power as opposed to his technique, but Kayvon Thibodeau was not coached well once he came into the league. I think Ruben Bain On the other hand, if you put him in good hands, we could be talking about one of the best edge rushers in recent memory to come out of the draft. I don't think he's better than Abdul Carter, who came out last year. I think he's very good. And by far and away, like one of the best players to come out of the Senior Bowl in a long time. Like, this is not a normal get. Do I have to emphasize it? This is not a normal get. This is a big deal for the Senior Bowl to get a guy of this caliber. This is crazy talk. This is absolutely crazy talk. And good on the recruiting team for this new Senior Bowl crew to go out and somehow sway a guy fresh off of losing the national championship to come in and be part of this event. I know where I'm going to be sitting during one-on-ones. I'm going to be watching him. I'm going to be watching him fuck up some offensive tackles. And there are some offensive tackles in this class that are going to go up against Ruben Bain in Mobile. They're going to shit their pants. It's going to be must watch if you're down there. Also, speaking of must watch, the Senior Bowl itself is going to be must watch. And this whole week is going to have a different feel to it than in years past because it's going to be practices in the afternoon, interviews in the morning, and now evenings are clear. Now, what does that mean? Well, if you're down in Mobile, you know what that means. It means everybody get your ass to Veets. This is going to be such a fun week. Ugh. Like, if you don't already know, it's the best week of the entire year. And that's before they went out and got Ruben fucking Bain to be part of the Senior Bowl. I can't stop gushing over it. Like, I'm sitting here, I'm going, oh my God, they got Ruben Bain. Like, wow, wow, wow. Now, it's not just Ruben Bain who I'm keeping an eye on. No, how could it be? But rather, who else out of this absolutely cracked group of edge rushers should we be keeping an eye on? This is one of the best edge groups to come out of the Senior Bowl in forever. Like, this is a one in a decade edge class to come to Mobile, Alabama. Truly some of the best work by the recruiting team possible. So who am I most excited to see take the field in Mobile, Alabama next week? Oh yeah, we are within 10 days to this incredible event. Can't believe we're this close to getting there. But let's talk about the roster. We're going to go down the list. Edge rusher, defensive end. That's the position of the day. Who do I love in this group? David Bailey, step right up. Texas Tech's David Bailey. Oh, yeah. Not the only guy that's projected to be a high draft pick at edge that is coming to Mobile. Like, I can't believe they really went out and they got David Bailey too. Like, and David Bailey has been lined up for this event for a while. This is a guy that, depending on the way you scout, he could be seen as a linebacker. He could be seen as an edge rusher. NFL Draft Buzz has him as a linebacker, not an edge rusher. But look, he is He's going to get after the quarterback. That was his thing at Mater Dei. That was his thing at Stanford. That's been his thing at Texas Tech. And he's an explosive athlete like you've never seen. The one-on-ones between edge and tackle are just going to be, it's going to be a bloodbath. But I mean, look at this group. I'm looking at it right now. Some of the names that are popping up are bordering on hilarious. Like, I can't believe they got so many big time, and I know this comes with a little bit of a caveat because two of the guys that I've been keeping an eye on, Cassius Howell and R. Mason Thomas, checked out of the Senior Bowl. So, boo. Dominique Orange, Big Citrus, they like to call him. Defensive tackle out of Ohio, or not, I almost said Ohio State. Iowa State. He's a Cyclone. 6'4", 325. And someone who's going to rocket up the draft list after this week. He's a guy, he's a Feldman freak. You're going to hear that name a lot. But when you look at a dude who is 325 and 6'4", and yet is quick for a nose tackle, I mean, the name Big Citrus should strike fear into you in itself, right? It has to. Sticking in the Big 12 and not Iowa State, we're going to go back to Texas Tech. Another guy who is rocketing up draft boards, and I've seen his name go as high as the first round. Big get, another big get for this class here in Mobile, and that's Lee Hunter, Texas Tech Red Raider. I'm a big fan of this player. He always jumped out when you'd watch anything Texas Tech related this year. And it's a bit of a homecoming for him, a Mobile native coming back to the Senior Bowl, one of the best run stuffers in the Big 12 this season. And he just, again, this is Texas Tech's thing. He's 325 pounds, an interior defender, and he's fast. How is he fast? Why not? I think he's a safer pick than most guys in this draft class just because we know what you're going to get out of him. But he and Dominique Orange are right there in the middle of the guys that I expect from D tackle to raise their stock the highest. I'll give you one more, bit of a homer pick for me, but this would be Chris McClellan out of the University of Missouri. As you can tell, I have a bit of a relationship with my beloved Mizzou Tigers. And McClellan is just a mountain of a man. Like, this dude is freaking enormous. And he's coming to the Senior Bowl to wreak havoc on whoever he gets matched up with. 6'4", 323 for McClellan. Big run stuffer, can also get after the passer. Not the only Missouri Tiger on the list, though. Someone that projects maybe as a top 50 pick, could even go as high as the first round, is Zion Young, who is rangy. He's 6'5". He's got big wingspan, but he doesn't have the burst that some of the top level guys do. So I'm not sure if he's going to necessarily jump off the page in Mobile, but I think he's a guy that's going to be a good rotational pass rusher at the next level. So see, I'm not that biased towards my Missouri Tigers, just a little bit. Who else? Step right up. We're going to go back to Miami. Akeem Mesidor. You want to talk about a dude who's raised his stock big time this year, especially in the college football playoff. Messidor is not just the second in command on that defensive line for the Canes to Ruben Bain, although Messidor and Bain both there. Like, how lucky are we? This is a guy that is crazy explosive, versatile. The bend is crazy. The motor's crazy. The competitive spirit is crazy. Not the biggest dude. So I wonder where he slots in between D tackle and defensive end. Maybe a Darius Robinson kind of rotational piece. But what we've seen out of Mesidor is this dude can play. He can play at the highest level. He's been inches from winning a national championship, and he gets after the quarterback. So I've given you my risers, my Dominique Oranges, my Key Mesidors. Caleb Banks, another guy that I think has potential to skyrocket. We talked about him last show. Banks I have as a first round pick, but is just explosive as an athlete as they come. I think we're going to have a lot of fun seeing him match up against some of the interior offensive line guys. Romello Height, another one. This edge class, this D-line class, Danny Dennis Sutton out of Penn State, it's loaded. TJ Parker from Clemson, LT Overton from Alabama. Like, how did they land almost every single one of these dudes that has been such a stud this season in college? It's crazy. It is truly crazy that this Senior Bowl crew landed this group of defensive ends and defensive tackles. Like, this is the position group to watch in Mobile next week. Like, I don't think there's anybody else that is as special than this group of defensive linemen. So, where else would I like to go with this particular episode? I'm really pissed, and I think if you're a Buffalo Bills fan, you're probably feeling the same way about how the Sean McDermott, Brandon Beane thing has all gone down. Like, was it time for McDermott to go? Maybe. But at the same time, I feel like it's pretty clear that the roster around Josh Allen was just not good enough. You have a quarterback in his prime that is just not being helped out outside of the fact that I feel like a lot of people in their Josh Allen narratives like to somehow forget about the fact that they have like one of, if not the best running backs in the league right now in James Cook. I'm not discounting that. But at the same time, the pass catching group is not good enough. The Keon Coleman stuff was just pathetic. This whole press conference felt like it sent the Buffalo Bills plummeting back years. Like, that's the kind of stuff you'd expect from the Sabres, not the Bills, unless the Bills are turning back into what the Bills were before. Yeah, I don't like the way things feel in Buffalo at all right now, and I think every Bills fan in existence would feel the same way. And no, I don't think the Bills' job is that desirable at all. Like, not even close now. Yeah, you have Josh Allen. Yeah, you have the new stadium, but you have to live in Buffalo. So that's a pretty shitty aspect in itself. but the contract situation, not great. Receiver room is a mess. They're going to have $11 million in cap space. $11,605,000 in cap space. Like, they're not in a good spot right now. And yeah, you can clear. That's certainly a situation and certainly something you can do, but easily one of the worst press conferences I've seen come out of an NFL team in as long as I can remember. Like, we've had some bad ones, but this feels like a uniquely terrible one, if that makes any sense. Like, having the owner butt in and say, "Oh, it was a bad call," but then also backing up firing the GM, or not the GM, the head coach, over that same one game, saying, "Oh, it's just over one game." Clearly wasn't. It bothers me. I think uh, I'm not a fan of how the Bills handled this at all. And I don't think anybody really is. Well, unless you're a Patriots fan or in the division, then yeah, sure, you're cool with it. But I just hate seeing a guy like Josh Allen have his career go to waste. And I know what you're gonna say. Oh, he's wasting his own career. Yeah, yes, he is. But it's a mess. Like, who are they gonna hire? Are they gonna bring in Brian Dable? I wouldn't hate it, but Brian Dable, if you watched an ounce of Giants football outside of 22, they'd come out unprepared, an abrasive coach in the office. It was a mess. Is that the fix for Buffalo? Doesn't seem like it. Just promote Joe Brady, take the easy way out. I think there's a really good coach on the market with Sean McDermott right now, and I'd love to see him wind up in Pittsburgh. I think that's a great fit if you're talking where McDermott should go. Meanwhile, I was decently high on Kevin Stefanski. I didn't think he'd be taking a lot of the big problematic pieces of that front office and coaching staff with him to Atlanta, and he took Tommy Reese with him as offensive coordinator. To me, that's immediately like a get me off the train kind of moment. Like, I see that and I go, "No way, Jose. I don't like this." And I think that's been the consensus from a lot of Falcons fans. I mean, is it fair to say that perhaps, and I mean, I'm a big Stefanski guy, but is it fair to say that maybe he's been given a little bit too much grace just because the organization he was coaching for was Cleveland, and Cleveland is a tire fire? I think that's a very fair assumption. So that's why I was not really banging the table for the Giants to hire Kevin Stefanski. But on the other hand, another coaching hire that we saw go through was Rob Saleh, and I think he was really given the short end of the stick by the New York Jets. Like, you watch his defenses, you watch the way he motivates. It was not Rob Saleh's fault that Jared Goff, or not Jared, oh my God, why am I saying Jared Goff? That Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles out of the gate. Rob Saleh wanted to keep Sam Darnold, by the way, is playing in an NFC Championship game. Sam Darnold is playing in the NFC Championship as a starting quarterback this weekend. How do we get here? But I've always been a Rob Saleh believer, and I stand on that. So I actually like this for Tennessee quite a bit, as opposed to them considering Matt Nagy. Actually, now he might be he might be the offensive coordinator for the Eagles. That's a whole nother can of worms. But I don't know. In short, love the edge rusher group. Don't like what's going on in Buffalo. And that is this episode of the podcast. So, toodles.